please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking into Tess Holliday, because as we're gearing up for end of year reviews and where are they nows, Tess will feature. So it serves me well to go and have a little looky-look and see what she's up to. Turns out she's been up to some things, posting mostly to the TikTok and Instagram. But there is an article from Fox News. Now of course, much like the Daily Mail, the BBC, CNN, MSNBC and all the others, you can disregard the producer, the format, the platform, whatever you want to call Fox News or any other news outlet, but the information itself is what we want. So we're going to run with it and see what happens. They posted an article titled "Model Tess Holliday Claims United Flight Attendant Told Her to Lose Weight During First Class Flight with Son." Well, this should be interesting. So plus size model, I hate the term plus size because it encapsulates people who are super morbidly obese, like Tess Holliday. Tess Holliday said this week that she recently got told to lose weight by a flight attendant and it left her in a state of shock. The 40-year-old, she's a year older than me, said she was flying first class on United from Tampa, Florida with her 9-year-old son when she got up to use the airplane bathroom, where she fits. Quote, "I was in the restroom and my hip hit the flight attendant call button. Well, I'm not surprised. When I came out of the bathroom, the flight attendant then started to tell me that they noticed I was traveling with my child and that losing weight would be in my best interest. While it is not their place to tell you these things, they are subsequently not wrong." She said he continued to tell her about his sister, whom he said was very, very large, probably Holliday size, who had been discriminated against on a flight recently. He said that his sister needed to lose weight as well, and that the long-term effect on our bodies isn't good for our health. This went on for about 10 minutes, and I think I was just frozen. I didn't want to make a scene because my son was flying with me, but I also was also in a state of shock. This was in a video shared to TikTok, so that's where we're going to go now.
We're on the airplane, we are watching Lilo and Stitch, I'm telling you this for a reason, and we have both of our TVs at the exact same time. I paused my TV because I said I need to go to the bathroom. I paused the TV at about 18 minutes, 30 seconds. I go to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom maybe a total of 2 minutes. When I get up out of the bathroom, get up from the toilet seat, my hip hit the flight attendant call button.
Not gonna lie, I should have just done this as a video responding directly to the fact that she's really big and the button would only have been hit because of her size. Then again, she's quite active on social media, and when I looked at her Instagram, the first thing I saw was a picture of her looking like she had had her leg crafted in a G.I. Joe factory. Knees aren't supposed to have those kind of ridges unless you're made of plastic. If your legs are made of plastic, you're definitely a faulty piece of product. And there's nothing cute about having that kind of divot in one's knee.
I get a knock on the door from the flight attendant in first class cabin asking if I'm okay, to which I reply yes. I get out of the cabin and the flight attendant said, "Oh, those bathrooms are so small." And I go, "I know, did they get smaller?" And he responded to me and said, "Well, you know why they're small? Because the airlines don't make money on them." And I was like, we had a little laugh about it.
That is 100% understandable, unless you're Ryanair, of course. Jokes aside, they also make them small to accommodate for the most seats possible and to provide minimal service because, let's face it, even if you're first class, this isn't some luxury cruise liner, is it? And the majority of people are not your size. Now granted, obesity is a problem in the United States, of course it is, because you're lazy, says the guy who's using one single image still for an entire month again. Your case though, you like to pretend you work out, when really you're building a sweat by simply putting strain on your back by standing upright. There are not meant to be folds in areas where you have them. Be as confident about your body as you like, but you are a mistake.
I wish the conversation ended there, but it did not. He then proceeds to tell me that his sister was using his companion flight, who was a very, very, very large woman, probably my size.
Oh no, what a shame. I guess the lesson to learn here is they're spreading, guys, like an infection. We need to deal with it now. If only there was a way of curing this malady, preventing it from spreading further.
Go to the f***ing gym.
Is that alright?
Knew you didn't go.
No, let's go
gym. Go to the gym.
And that she had gotten a middle seat because she was flying standby. The person beside her didn't like that she was large, filed a complaint with the airline, to which United then reached out to the flight attendant that was telling me this and said things about his sister that made him uncomfortable.
While we should always go to bat for our family, from time to time it's always good to give them a reality check. Unless, of course, you're American, in which case there's always a risk they're going to sue you for it. You Americans have a terrible reputation for it. In fact, me just saying that has me worried that someone's going to sue me for saying it, as if it's some kind of defamation. Really, it's reality. You're far too trigger happy. Even your bitch-made IRL nuisance streamers. Now, of course, this is all anecdotal, so far. We're not given any proof, so we don't know for certain if what she is saying is truth or not. But we can disregard it if we choose to later.
To which he said, I never told my sister because they weren't very nice things. And it's so crazy how you're so close to dunking the basketball, but you completely hit it off court.
Protecting one's feelings to ensure that that person's ego is not at all damaged is sometimes good for mental health. I do tend to think that perhaps sometimes when you do cause a problem, it would be better for you to be aware of it, at least so in the future if anyone does say anything, you can address it properly. In your case, Tess, you should always be told, because eventually your ego will decide, okay, we're going to go up on this little rafter here so you can stop using us to deflect from the criticism we receive because of our size.
Because then what he proceeded to tell me was that, but he did agree that she did need to lose weight, that she was very large, and that he saw I was traveling with my child, and that if I cared about my child, that I would do something, that I would lose the weight.
We have seen over the more recent years an increased number of people who are passing away at an age that is far too young to be passing away by modern standards, barely even reaching half of the typical life expectancy of their nationality. One of the main reasons for that is one of the biggest causes, and that is obesity. Everyone likes to latch on to things like smoking. Obesity is still right up there, and it would be wrong of society to allow it to be put to the side in favour of thinking that this is remotely acceptable for any person to look like.
I then told him that I work as a diversity and inclusivity consultant with brands to help them with issues like this, with folks being discriminated against, etc.
So you may have noticed that part was omitted from the Fox article. My view will always remain the same. I don't care for diversity, equity and inclusion. I really don't. I've seen far too many DEI hires on TV because of clips doing their rounds showing that they are only there because they are essentially a form of token. I don't like that. Either the best person has the job or the job shouldn't exist at all. When it comes to inclusivity for super morbidly obese people, my thought is the employer has the right and should remain strong enough to have the right to tell you that if you are not fit enough to do the job, they will not lower the standards for you so you can keep the job. Simple as that. Productivity is very important. It's why years ago when the New York Fire Department, the city one anyway, they lowered the standards so women could be included. And what happened next? Yeah, statistics for those who are interested, if you go and look them up, are not on your side. DEI is just affirmative action Mark II. Essentially a quaint way of saying a load of bollocks.
He didn't even hear what I said, because then he flew past me and started talking about how he was in the military, how he had to eat the military meals, they were full of sodium, it made him feel unhealthy, and that his German wife, who weighs less than 100 pounds, bakes their bread from scratch and doesn't eat any of the processed crap in America.
No offense to the Germans in my audience, but everything she just said doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Then again, you eat raw pork, so I'm going to judge harshly anyway. I'll sit here on my pedestal with my beige food in the knowledge that at least it's cooked. Him flexing about having a light wife, as it were, and going through the rigors of military life is his way of dabbing on you that he overcame the adversity and got out the other side with a German wife. I would have said hot wife, but I didn't want.
And that's why she is slender. I didn't really know what to say.
I can help you if you like. Since you inconvenienced them by leaning on the button because of your size, they lectured you on your size to judge you without judging you intentionally-ish. My advice to you is the following. Go to the gym. and this time count your calories, because you can go to the gym and still eat 4,000 or 5,000 calories and undo all that work you put in the gym. Also, you may be sweating with those pictures you used to post at the gym. Reality is, you'd sweat walking to the gym.
I know a lot in the comments, everybody's like, you should have said this, you should have done this. In the moment, I was trying to be polite because I'm traveling with who? My child.
Now, I'm going to say this. I can understand that mentality, but I know far too many people who, upon being put in those positions of being challenged in front of their children or in the near vicinity, they will let rip so that they can be seen as strong. Now, where this becomes an issue is on an airline, you're likely to be yeeted off by the police, so you have to play it carefully. The polite response, if you really didn't want to hear it, would have been, I don't want to listen to you, bye. However, you did inconvenience them, so to be honest, you have to take the L on this one.
He then goes on to tell me that because of my size, I am kidding myself if I think that I don't need to lose weight, and that my main issue is in my belly region because that is the killer, because all of the fat and the inflammation wraps around your organs, making it really difficult if they need to resuscitate you.
This anecdote is quite an interesting one because it affords you an opportunity to introspect if it is true. It's a shame that because you're Tess Holliday, your first thought isn't to introspect. Your first thought is to cry on TikTok about it, not debunk anything, which is another aspect of this I find quite amusing. The reason you went to TikTok about it is because then you can cry about it, be coddled, shown the lair you so desperately want from your sycophantic simps that follow you and buy your shite book.
Which triggered for me because a few days prior I actually had to help when someone was incapacitated while their children were there, while I'm on the phone with 911, who was a larger bodied individual who was not able to be resuscitated on the scene, and it really messed with me.
While I will admit there is a small modicum of sympathy for that person you failed to resuscitate, and that's not a failure on your part, it is just reality. You did the best you could. I would have thought that event, if true, would serve as a wake-up call because you know how hard it is from first-hand experience to help someone who is larger. If you can't learn the lessons from those who drop around you, then you are destined to fail. The fact you're still here at 40 is impressive, because there are people who are similar size, smaller and larger, who did not. And a vast number of those people did not because of their obesity problems. When you get to 40, things start to fall apart. In women, it happens a bit quicker because of harsher living, because you've given birth to children. It's statistically proven. It just happens. Guys crash at a point and they crash hard. I would have thought you'd know this by now anyway. And I'm not being sexist. If someone thinks I am, grow up and do a basic biology lesson. Now, I could continue with her crying victim-ish, right? Telling her quaint anecdote to make it seem like she learnt a lesson when she didn't really. She used the cliche shields. She did nothing special, but I don't want. Instead, I want to go for a walk and eat a sausage sarnie. Yes, that's my lunch. With everything we cover on this channel, I'd love to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. If I don't see you on Twitch later for some TCG card shop sim, I think. Have a wonderful day, guys, and thank you so much for listening.